What's going on YouTube? Dylan here with TheByesRegret, back from yet another hiatus. This is like my fifth time trying to film this video, so I hope I get it right this time. Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Happy 2023, everybody. This is going to be the year that we get on track with our uploads and definitely do, kick off some new series. I already have some stuff in the works. I have basically like a little podcast series that I'm getting ready to start, based out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or out of Speed Duels and Yu-Gi-Oh! In general. I have a couple of collabs with other channels set up as well, so I'm really excited to get into it. We'll also be returning to retro Yu-Gi-Oh! Here in the near future, but that's another video for another time. So yeah, going into this deck profile, this is my vanilla, kind of like my vanilla fusion deck that I like to mess around with. This is like the fifth permutation of this deck that I have personally played. It all stemmed from the list that topped the Remote Extravaganza prior to, prior to the most recent ban list. So yeah, we've changed the deck a good bit. Also, I'm really sorry if it sounds echoey or if the glare is really bad. I'm filming this at my kitchen table because my basement's cold as shit right now. So yeah, so starting out with the skill, here goes something. Once per duel, you can activate the skill at the start of your battle phase while you control exactly one elemental hero and no other monsters. For the rest of the turn, that monster gains 800 attack while battling an opponent's monster and can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and then you can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. So the whole point of the deck is to just kind of lay out Nova Master, Flame Wingman, or Plasma Vice, because they all do piercing damage, or Nova Master can draw you upwards of 3 cards if you give it the boost from Here Goes Something. Flame Wingman inflicts burn, and Plasma Vice inflicts piercing. So that's the whole, as well as a couple other funny fusion tricks. Like you can make Electrum with this deck. But yeah, going into the main deck, we have 3 copies of Blazeman. Blazeman is just the best warrior and the best elemental hero. I said best warrior in the last time I tried to film this too. It's just the best elemental hero in the format because it searches poly and sets up a 5th hope as well. A 5th hope being a card that we are playing because of future fusion, because it almost guarantees that we're going to be able to shuffle everything back and draw 2. So yeah, Blazeman, great card, searches poly. At bare minimum, if you open 2 Blazeman, you can just make Nova Master. And then because we're playing, there's 5 fusions in the extra deck that require a elemental hero by name, and a lot of the vanillas we're playing one-ofs because they're low attack, 800 attack, 1000 attack vanillas. So we're playing 3 copies of Goddess. I considered cutting this card down to 2, but there were just some hands where when I had 2 in the deck that this card was just bad, you know what I mean? Like if we drew 2 of them, we just couldn't get anywhere. We were setting Goddesses and passing. Yeah, a lot of the time, it's really funny because of, like the defusion trick where you can like use Goddess and a Sparkman to make Plasma Vice, attack with Plasma Vice, and then defusion it in the battle phase to go for lethal damage with Goddess and Sparkman. So yeah, that's definitely a fun build that you could play. I remember when people were playing that, where it was 3 Goddess, 3 Sparkman, 3 Blade Edge, 3 Defusion, 3 Poly. This was before Blazeman came out, but I guarantee the deck could be cool now too. But going into the vanillas, we're playing 2 Sparkman. Sparkman is just like the best vanilla elemental hero. I definitely can't lie. 1600 beater that goes to 24 with this, so at bare minimum, if you just need to clear the field, you can just summon Sparkman, give it the 800 boost, and then blow out your opponent's entire field. As well as the fact that it has 2 fusions in the extra deck, actually 4 fusions in the extra deck that require it by name, so playing 2 of this card is definitely okay. And then for the other vanillas, we're playing 1 Avian, 1 Burstinatrix, 1 Clayman as like the little main series, along with Bubbleman, 1 Necro Shade, and 1 Blade Edge. I know that's a very weird angle. Hold on. There we go. So the reason why we're playing all these vanillas and all of this jank shit is simply for the fact of Blazeman and Future Fusion. So we can if we draw Blade Edge for say, we can Future Fusion, or we can summon Blazeman, send Necro Shade. This becomes a dark, and then we can just normal summon Blade Edge without tributing. As well as we need all of these names to make Elemental Hero Tempest, Elemental Hero Electrum, stuff of that nature. As well as there are times where your hand just becomes empty and you can just special summon Boboman. And yeah, honestly, the deck should probably play cards like Justy Break and stuff of that nature, but I don't find myself summoning the vanillas enough. So yeah, because usually when you see the vanillas in your hand, you're just making fusions. So yeah, that's a 14 monster lineup. Yeah, 14 monsters in the main deck. Going on to the spells, 3 copies of Poly. Obviously, we're playing a fusion deck, so you have to. With 3 copies of Poly and 3 copies of Blazeman, we're playing 6 Poly, essentially. And then with 2 A Hero Lives, we're playing 8 copies of Poly. So there definitely shouldn't be a reason that you don't see a copy of Polymerization. Seeing that we're playing so many ways. I originally was playing 3 A Hero Lives, but I don't like playing 3 because in the late game, this card just doesn't do anything. So that's like my main reasoning for it, along with, having your life can be a pain in the ass at times. Going off for Spell Trap removal, 2 copies of All Righteous Justice. Usually you're using this to pop for 1. Sometimes you pop for 2. You rarely pop for 3. And then we're also playing a Night Beam and a Nobleman of Extermination. This should just be 2 Night Beam, but, well, originally it was 2 Night Beam, and then I couldn't find my second Night Beam when I was building this deck again today, so I put in an X-Term and tried it out in a couple matches on DB, and I ended up really liking X-Term, so this card ended up being like a really cool MVP. And then other one-ups we're playing 1 Future Fusion. Playing multiples as a card just felt bad. There's really only one target that you want to resolve it for, and that's Electrum, to resolve a 5th Hope with. You could also use it to like dump the pieces for Tempest if you like need to make a card that just can't be destroyed, because I mean, I don't know, why not? 1 copy of Defusion. Yet another card I was considering playing multiples of, but doesn't really do anything without a fusion on the field. So just sticking with 1 copy for now. For more like refined builds, because this is more like E-Hero Toolbox more than anything, but for more refined builds focusing on a single fusion, like if we were to do like just a Tempest, like, strictly Tempest, strictly Flame Wingman, strictly Plasma Vice, strictly Dark Bright, one of the hero fusions that has 2 heroes by name in the list, probably a Sparkman fusion, because Sparkman's the best vanilla hero, like I said prior. Definitely would be playing more copies of this. And then 1 copy of Rhoda, strictly because, finds Blazeman, finds any card other than Blade Edge, Necro Shade, and Goddess of the Third Eye in this format, or in this deck at least. And then for the last cards in the deck, trap cards, just 2 Wall of D. Wall of D plus, if your opponent slaps out a board full of monsters and you have nothing on your field but a Wall of D, you just activate Wall of D. They all go to 0. You summon Sparkman, give them the boost from the skill, and then just kill your opponent. So, yeah, definitely a good card. Definitely a card that I think is just becoming staple in the format. Like back when Floodgate, like 3 Floodgate through Book of Moon was the staple, I definitely think Wall of D in some amount is played in every list now. Going into the extra deck, 1 copy of Nova Master. Honestly, the best hero fusion in my opinion. I definitely think this card is just insane. 1 copy of Flame Wingman, and 1 copy of Plasma Vice. These are like the main 3 that we want to give the boost to. More than anything, because, Piercer, burn damage, drawing cards. And then we're also playing Dark Bright. Dark Bright is also Piercer. And then it's turn to defense at the end of the damage, it's turn to defense at the end of the damage step. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you can guarantee killing your opponent with the piercing, you can give it the boost, poke for 28, and then it gets turned to defense after the first attack. So that 28 piercing has to kill your opponent. And then we're playing the cards that we like rarely summon. 1 copy of Tempest, and then 1 copy of Electrum. Electrum goes to 3,700 in this deck. Tempest goes to 36, so it can just be death, you know what I mean? So, yeah. Like I said, rarely summoning these two. I never really find a time where my hands make it to where I can just summon these hard. Usually I'm, resolving Future Fusion to like send pieces to activate a Fifth Hope. But, or, Future Fusioning so that I can get the pieces in the yard to, I can't speak tonight. So yeah, that is it for this deck profile. I definitely appreciate you all watching and sticking with me, even when I did switch from retro formats to speed duel. Yeah, 2023 is going to be where we get back on track with the format, at least, or with the what's it called, or with Yu-Gi-Oh! And content in general. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.